Listening to stories is a powerful way to improve spoken English. It helps you learn pronunciation, intonation, and natural speech patterns while expanding your vocabulary effortlessly. Stories also train your brain to think in English, making speaking easier and more fluent. By listening regularly, you build confidence and improve your communication skills naturally. So, without further ado, let's start with the story. Thanks for your support. Mr. Jones was a man of contradictions. To the world, he was full of life, charming, funny, unpredictable. People were drawn to him, fascinated by his energy. But what they didn't see was the other side, the darkness that followed him like a shadow, waiting to pull him under. Some days he felt like he could do anything. Other days he felt like nothing at all. One bright afternoon he walked through the city, feeling an overwhelming rush of excitement. The world was glowing, alive in a way only he could see. Colors were brighter, sounds were sharper, and he felt like he was floating. His thoughts raced faster than he could keep up with. He smiled at strangers, waved at passing cars, and even started singing in the middle of the street. People stared. Some laughed. Others looked concerned. But he didn't care. He felt invincible. Then something caught his eye, a group of construction workers on top of a half-finished building. They moved carefully, balancing on steel beams, their helmets glinting in the sunlight. And suddenly, an idea exploded in his mind. He could join them. No, he could do more than that. He could fly. Without hesitation, he ran toward the construction site. Ignoring the workers' shouts, he climbed the scaffolding, going higher and higher. His heart pounded, not with fear, but with exhilaration. Below, people gasped as they saw him ascend. Cars honked. A woman screamed. Someone called the police. But he didn't hear any of it. He reached the top and stood on the edge of the structure, looking down at the city below. The wind rushed past him, lifting his hair, filling him with an indescribable feeling of power. "I can fly!" he shouted, spreading his arms wide like a bird. The workers panicked. "Hey, get down from there!" one of them yelled. "Don't do it, man!" another shouted. But Mr. Jones wasn't afraid. He was higher than he had ever been, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. He felt limitless, like the entire universe was inside him. Then a voice broke through the chaos. "Mr. Jones." It was calm, steady, different from all the others. He turned and saw her, Dr. Libby Bowen. She stood below, looking up at him, her face filled with worry but not panic. "Come down," she said, her voice gentle. "Let's talk." He frowned. "You don't understand," he said. "I feel so good. I feel like I can do anything." "I know," she said softly, "but you don't have to prove it by jumping." He hesitated. Part of him wanted to believe her, but another part, the reckless, manic part, was still soaring, still caught in the rush. "You don't get it," he said, shaking his head. "This is my moment. This is freedom." She took a deep breath, then spoke again, even softer this time. "If you jump, you won't be free. You'll be gone. And I don't want to lose you." For the first time, something inside him shifted. The manic energy flickered, just for a second. He looked at her, really looked at her. "You don't even know me," he said, his voice quieter now. "Yes, I do," she replied. "And I know that deep down you don't want to die. You just want to feel alive." There was a long silence. The wind howled around him. His heart was still racing, but now it wasn't just excitement. It was fear, exhaustion, confusion. Slowly, he stepped back from the edge. The workers rushed forward and grabbed him, holding him steady. The crowd below let out a collective sigh of relief. Minutes later, the paramedics helped him down. Dr. Bowen was waiting for him. He looked at her, his eyes filled with something new, something like trust. "Why did you come?" he asked. "Because I care," she said simply. And for the first time in a long time, Mr. Jones believed someone. The hospital was quiet, but Mr. Jones was restless. He didn't like being confined. He wanted to be free, to feel everything, to experience life at its highest peaks. But something about Dr. Bowen made him stay. She was different. She didn't treat him like a problem to be solved. She treated him like a person. Day after day, she watched him closely. Sometimes he was full of energy, making everyone laugh, flirting with the nurses, playing the piano in the recreation room as if his life depended on it. Other times he was withdrawn, refusing to eat, staring at the walls with empty eyes. One evening, when he was in one of his darker moods, she sat beside him. "Tell me what it feels like," she asked softly. He was silent for a long time. Then he finally spoke. "It's like being a god one moment and then nothing the next," he whispered. "When I'm up, I feel like I can do anything. I feel love. I feel music. I feel the whole world inside me. But when I come down, it's like I'm drowning and I can't breathe." Her heart broke for him. She knew now. This wasn't just a man who liked to have fun. This was a man trapped in his own mind, fighting battles no one else could see. She tried to help him. She gave him medication, but he hated it. "It makes me numb," he complained. "I don't want to lose the highs, even if it means avoiding the lows." One night, as they walked in the hospital garden, he looked at her seriously. "Do you think I'm crazy?" She shook her head. "I think you're in pain." For the first time, he let his guard down. He let her see the real him, not just the charming, energetic man, but the one who was scared, lost, and desperate to feel normal. Something changed between them. Dr. Bowen found herself drawn to him, not just as a patient, but as a person. And Mr. Jones, he felt something for her too. She was the first person who truly saw him. But love between a doctor and a patient was forbidden. She knew it was wrong. She fought against her feelings. One day, after a particularly intense episode, he disappeared. The hospital searched for him, but he was gone. Dr. Bowen panicked. She searched the city, retracing his favorite places. Finally, she found him, standing on the edge of a bridge, staring at the water below. "Mr. Jones," she called out, running toward him. He turned, tears in his eyes. "I can't do this anymore, Libby," he whispered. Her heart clenched. He had never called her by her first name before. "Yes, you can," she said, reaching for his hand. "You are not alone." For a moment he hesitated, and then slowly he took her hand. She pulled him into her arms, holding him tightly as he broke down. In the following weeks he stayed in the hospital, working hard to find some stability. And Dr. Bowen, she made a difficult choice. She stepped away as his doctor, knowing that her feelings had crossed a line. But she didn't leave his life. She became his friend, his support, someone who believed in him even when he didn't believe in himself. Mr. Jones' journey wasn't easy. There were still ups and downs, still moments of pain and moments of joy. But for the first time he had hope, and sometimes hope was enough to keep going. And this brings us to the end of the video. If you have learned anything from this video, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching and supporting.